All right, y'all, the Olympics are right around the corner, and chaos has already happened in the ice dance world in the off season. So what better way to dive into the off season by talking about bold predictions and rivalries in ice dance, particularly the Shibutanis and Chock and Bates. This is Figure Skating Land presents Olympic 2026 Predictions Ice Dance Edition. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you love edgework, twizzles, and really all things figure skating. So it started out, I was deep diving researching a rivalry between Chock and Bates and Piper and Paul and trying to see how long has this been going on? Is it just this quad? And I kept coming back to the whole time. What's really more interesting is Chock and Bates and the Shibutanis seem to really have a huge rivalry. In terms of thinking of Olympic predictions at the time, which was freaking the 30th of when I started making the video, the Shibutanis were not in the picture. However, May 1st, 2025, not April 1st, the Shibutanis made a surprise announcement that they're coming back. And suddenly, I found myself diving head first into a different rivalry. There was so much online, and it's fascinating because I didn't realize the extent of all this. Now, of course, some of this may be figure skating lore, where passed down in forums, passed down in ice rinks, generation to generation, Reddit, Twitter. And so I don't have 100% confirmation about literally almost any of this. So take it with a grain of salt. It could be right, it could be wrong. But let's get into what is out there. But first, if you're wondering who the Shibutanis are, Alex and Maia Shibutani are American ice dancers. Count 1, 2, 3, count 1, 2, 3 are American ice dancers. They are well known for their consistency, their unison, and just overall remarkable skating skills. They are 2-time Olympic bronze medalist, a 3-time world medalist, 2016 Four Continents champion, and 2-time U.S. national champion. And the queen and king of ice dance, Madison, Chock, and Evan Bates, they have so many accolades and awards. So they are the 2022 Olympic gold medalist in the team event, 3-peat world champion, 2-time Grand Prix champion, 3-time Four Continents champion, and 10-time ISU Challenger Series, and 6-time U.S. national champion, and 20. They just have so many medals. Wow. So they are most well known for their acrobatic skating, their unique programs, and just their chemistry. I remember I told one of my besties at Nationals in Columbus, I was like, you are going to see them and they are going to have so much sexual energy. It's going to be obvious and it's going to be oozing into the ice. She must have thought I was a liar because Evan looked like he was going to vomit all over Ohio. So how far back does this rivalry go? So I was a sweet summer naive child and thought it just kind of happened around 2018, around the fact that the Shibutanis decided they were not going to split the 2018 Olympic team event. But it seems to actually go back way further. But it also doesn't seem like it's happened forever because at one point, Alex and Evan were apparently roommates for a few years. And apparently Maddie and Maya would be in each other's pictures on social media and would like each other's things. So both teams way far back, in the early 2000s, when some were juniors, trained under Marina and Igor at the legendary Canton ice rink, where it used to have many dominant ice teams during the teens, even back when they were juniors. So Maddie had skated with Greg and beat the Shibutanis at the 2009 World Championships. So it seemed like there was this healthy competitive rivalry back then, but drama started to simmer. So first, kind of the catalyst, Greg decided he wanted to retire, and then rumor has it that Igor was going behind Evan's previous partner's back, Emily, and orchestrating this tryout with Maddie And to this day, there are people who still say, Evan should not have left Emily the way he did. I did watch an interview once where Evan was explaining that he and Emily were no longer happy with one another when they skated and he just wanted to be happy. But that still doesn't mean there wasn't any orchestrating going on behind the scenes. So then that was around 2011 when Chock and Bates teamed up. And then that year, the Shibs had their like dream debut season. So they did what was so unheard of in the ice dance world and managed to get a bronze medal at Worlds in 2011. Like, this is so unheard of because usually people have to wait their turn. But by 2012, they dropped to 8th. Was there an injury? Was there anything else? No, a lot of the rumors are saying actually around that time, Igor really shifted a lot of his attention towards Chock and Bates. So also around that time, I think it was around 2012, suddenly there's like this huge coaching divorce between Marina and Igor. And like teams had to choose sides. And there's like even some legal battle going on. And I have no idea what the legal battle was. Who freaking knows? I want to know one day. Someone one day release it. So what happens is Shibutanis chose Marina and Chock and Bates chose Igor. So looking at the performance-wise, one thing Skating Scores did a really nice job of on Twitter was showing a chart where through the years, you know how some skaters will have like a competition versus competition where one might be higher, one might be lower. This chart really shows, okay, like it was actually season with season where there was just one would shift and one would change places. It's so interesting to me. So like during the 2012 and 2015 season, Chock and Bates rose fairly fast, but however, they were also having to compete against the Shibutanis for who would be that second place American team. As many of y'all know, the gold medal contenders were more like Tessa and Scott and Merle and Charlie. So really, they were just trying to basically get silver or bronze. Basically almost fighting for the bronze, to be honest. Like if Tessa and Scott and Charlie and Merle were having to like flip gold and silver, then basically the Shibutanis and Chock and Bates. And of course, also there was the Weaver. I mean, there were so many other dance teams, but they were just trying to get that like podium. And even like if you think about like they would go back and forth when it came to like getting nationals. So like the 2015 nationals, Chock and Bates took the gold, but then the Shibs got it back in 2016 and 2017. So there was just like this like teeter-tottering. And that leads us up to the 2018 Olympics. This is where a lot of people know about their rivalry. And so because the Shibs had a stronger record, and even though Hubble and Donahue won nationals that season, they got to make a choice about who did the team event, and they decided they were going to skate both the rhythm dance and the free dance. So this was very strategic of them, and it ended up making both Chock and Bates and Hubble and Donahue really feel kind of icy towards them for not including them in that decision. And in fact, the Shibs went on to win bronze. And so then, as I mentioned earlier, there was this break. And now they're coming back. And so where does that leave them when we're thinking about Chock and Bates versus the Shibs? And honestly, I don't know. It seems like both USFS and ISU are very excited about this announcement. And we all know, and I'm not saying they aren't amazing skaters, but we all also know how political ice dance can be. So does this mean they could perhaps edge out Chock and Bates for the potential gold? So the Shibs, even though they have only stopped skating for 7 years, I still like a lot of momentum. And things have changed since then. Like lifts are different. Like I was watching, even when you watch like Ice Dance from 2014 to now, the lifts seem like they're getting way more complicated. And there's no longer like a real pattern dance, which they were used to in skating and hold for a while. So we should honestly just really see, like, I honestly have no idea how it's gonna go. Chock and Bates do have such a high momentum. And of course, I know there's gonna be 1,000 comments of people saying, well, we gotta wait and see if Shibs end up at the Olympics first. And I just predict that they will end up at the Olympics. Just kind of the way USFS and ISU have amped up their announcement. And also when you think about it, like the two teams that they could be gunning for against don't have American citizenship. And I know a lot of people are like debating Should they come back? Should they not be able to come back because of it's Olympic quad and they're still in a position? Again, I'm just repeating what people are saying. Please don't leave me a comment and say that's a weird take. Someone did it the last one, and I promise I'm just saying what people are saying. I honestly don't have a strong opinion. I could be almost led either way. Like, this is something where I don't know how I feel about it. I think I even said that when we were talking about Laurence and Cizeron. And so really, I wonder if they may not be contenders for Olympic gold, who would they then probably potentially, I don't want to say take, but now be a contender for like a silver or bronze? Like, who's going to get moved off the podium? I did see some people worrying about Piper and Paul and how this team is also going to impact them. I honestly don't know. Piper and Paul have had a really big momentum. So when I was looking at, the Chock and Bates and Piper and Paul rivalry, it doesn't seem like it fully really started until this Olympic quad. Now, they did have, in 2021, where Maddie and Evan were contenders for a bronze medal at Worlds, and then Evan's Twizzles got downgraded a level, and so then Piper and Paul ended up being a surprise win. 1, 2, 3, count 1, 2, 3. This Olympic quad where they ended up being basically neck to neck with Chock and Bates, and that's who I almost wonder if it's gonna be really a contender for gold versus silver. And I mean, also when we think about like both Chock and Bates and Piper and Paul have not had the best luck at the Olympics. So in 2018, Maddie injured her ankle before the rhythm dance, and the blades of their skates caught on the entrance of their combination spin. So they both fell and invalidated the entire element. And then in 2022, Maddie and Evan did a beautiful job at the team event, came in first place in the free dance, and helped bring their team the medal. However, in the individual event, Chock stumbled midway through. Piper and Paul in 2022 lost in a level in the team event, and then in the individual event, Piper ended up having a bobble, and then in the free dance, like, she could not get in a proper position. However, I also feel like both teams have had more experience since then, and so maybe they are able to get their nerves under control or navigate some of this. However, we also know they both have had some wonky experiences, like Paul slamming into, I would say slammed into the boards, like clipping into the boards, basically. Maddie having a fall, Paul having a fall. And then we can't also forget the Italians. Now, it's going to be very hard, I think, for them in a home Olympics to not be a medal contender. I think it's going to be very difficult. Just the way, that home energy that a lot of people talk about. And actually, I read a study about it, and I meant to print it. It was fascinating. Like, someone did do a research study on home advantage and scoring. I'll have to do another video on that at some point. But anyway, I think it's going to be very difficult unless there's going to do something real busted like Robots Part 2. I can't imagine they're going to be that persistent, and that I will keep that robot program just to spite you people. So will they get silver? Will they get bronze? What's the shibs up in there? But then, of course, then there's Laurence and Cizeron, who, like, he's an amazing skater too. I don't know how they're going to go, though, because they don't have any history of one another, and we all know ice dance is momentum. However, there's also maybe the potential for them to have the gold bonus because he has gold. I don't know how it's going to go. Who freaking knows? Is it going to be Queen and King Chock and Bates? Is it going to be the shibs popping in? Either way, I know many of y'all have been saying that, like, all the ice dance competitions lately should have been an email. So it's almost like, here we go. This is no longer going to be email. Intrigued to see how the Shibutanis do with the new, I want to say system, but now there's like +5 instead of +3. There's all different things for them to adjust to. Who do y'all think is going to either be an upset for the gold medal, silver medal, or bronze medal? Or who do you think is going to be predictable? Like, yeah, this is going to be gold, silver, and bronze. I am already excited for the next season. Can it just hurry up? Oh, all right, y'all. I tried to get as much information as I could and use several different sources, but I didn't want to out anybody because I know that make anybody weirded out if I'm like, and this person on Twitter said this, and this Reddit person said this. So thank you. So thanks y'all for putting so much information out there about this. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more figure skating related content. And I'll see y'all for the next Olympic rivalry video.